When you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, let's be honest, the clock is ticking. Every single move, every draft pick, every dollar spent, it all gets magnified. Because that window to win a Super Bowl, it is wide open. So the Los Angeles Chargers, now under the new regime of Jim Harbaugh and GM Joe Ortiz, are standing at a massive crossroads. They've got the franchise guy, but they also have some monster decisions to make that are going to define their chances for the next 5 years. Today we're diving deep into the 3 very different paths they could take to build a real contender.
Hey everybody, and welcome to NFL Nexus. We're so glad to have you here for this deep dive.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to set the stage at this big strategic crossroads for the Chargers. Then we'll explore 3 completely different philosophies. You've got the aggressive, win-now veteran trade, the safe, foundational, boring O-line investment, and the kind of wild, unconventional value pick in the draft. And finally, we'll pull it all together and put you right in the general manager's chair.
All right, let's just jump right into it. Every single thing the Chargers do, every decision they make, it all comes back to number 10, Justin Herbert. See, when you have a top 5 talent slinging the rock, the mission is pretty simple. Build a championship roster around him before his massive contract extension makes that way harder. For GM Joe Ortiz and coach Jim Harbaugh, this isn't about just tweaking things. I mean, they've moved on from franchise icons like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler. This is a full-on re-engine. It's about building a new, tougher, more physical identity and making choices that are going to ripple through this team for years.
And that right there leads to the big question every GM with a star quarterback has to ask themselves. Do you go out and spend big on a win-now veteran to try and grab a ring immediately? Do you invest in the trenches, playing the long game by protecting your most valuable asset, which, is a Jim Harbaugh specialty? Or do you get a little creative, find some hidden value in the draft where other teams aren't looking, and try to exploit the market? Each of those paths has a totally different risk, a different timeline, and that is the tightrope the Chargers are walking right now.
So let's kick things off with the most aggressive option out there, the veteran trade. This is the all-in move, right? You're not just hoping a rookie develops. You are acquiring a known, proven player. It's a huge statement to your team, to the fans, and to Justin Herbert himself that the goal isn't to be good in a couple of years. The goal is to win the Super Bowl this year. But it comes at a very steep price, both in salary cap and, maybe more importantly, in the draft picks you have to give up to get the deal done.
And the big name that's reportedly floating around league circles is Steelers edge rusher Alex Highsmith. According to Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports, he's a potential target for teams desperate for pass rush help. And Highsmith is exactly what you'd be looking for in this kind of trade. He's a productive, 29-year-old veteran at a premium position. He isn't just a guy who chases the QB. He's a complete player who sets a mean edge in the run game. He is a plug-and-play, day-one starter who makes your defense better the second he walks in the door.
But okay, here's the immediate roadblock, that price tag. Bringing in Highsmith means you have to absorb about $30 million in salary over the next 2 years. That is a huge slice of your salary cap for one guy who isn't a quarterback. Now, the Chargers can afford it, sure, but it's a zero-sum game. That $30 million is money you can't use to fix other holes on the roster, like at wide receiver or cornerback, and that's a massive part of the equation. And on top of that, you're probably giving up at least a 2nd or 3rd round pick, a really valuable piece for a team that needs to build up its depth.
So why would you even think about paying that kind of price? Well, for this number right here, 9.5. That's how many sacks Highsmith racked up last season playing across from TJ Watt, who gets a ton of attention. You see, you're not gambling on a draft pick maybe working out, you're paying for a guaranteed known quantity. With 45 sacks in his career, you know he can get to the quarterback when it matters most. That's the kind of instant, game-changing production that can literally be the difference between a win and a loss in a tight playoff game.
And the urgency for a guy like Highsmith becomes crystal clear when you really look at the Chargers' depth chart. The need isn't just real, it is glaring. Let's really break this down. You've got the living legend Khalil Mack, but he's 35 years old. He's still a monster now, but you can't build your long-term future around him. On the other side, you've got the rising star Tuli Tuipulotu, who had a fantastic rookie year but is already staring down a massive contract extension that is going to get very expensive very fast. And after those two, the depth is, well, super thin. You're looking at a developmental rookie and a veteran in Bud Dupree, who's probably best used in a limited role. It's a really fragile situation. One injury to Mack or Tuipulotu, and that whole pass rush could just collapse. Adding a proven player like Highsmith doesn't just add depth, it transforms the entire unit from a potential weakness into a dominant, 3-headed monster.
Okay, so now let's pivot to a totally different team-building philosophy, one that feels a lot more in line with the new head coach. Path 2 is what some people might call the boring option, investing in the offensive line.
This move isn't going to create flashy headlines like a big trade, but it is a foundational meat-and-potatoes kind of approach. The logic is simple, and it's time-tested. The single best way to make sure your franchise quarterback succeeds is to keep him upright and healthy.
Now, to really appreciate this path, you have to think about the new regime. Jim Harbaugh's entire coaching identity, from Stanford to the 49ers to Michigan, it's all built on winning in the trenches with physical, dominant line play. The new luxury isn't some flashy receiver. It's a clean pocket for Justin Herbert and huge running lanes for the running backs. This path is a fundamental pivot from the old strategy of just giving Herbert more weapons to a new one of giving him more time and a punishing ground game. It's all about building from the inside out.
And the perfect prospect for this whole strategy might just be Oregon offensive lineman Emmanuel Pregnant. I mean, he checks all the boxes. He fills a major need at guard, and his film shows a guy who's incredibly polished, powerful, and ready for the NFL. The Chargers have already invested heavily at tackle with elite bookends in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, and they have veteran Tyler Biadasz at center. Adding a powerful mauling guard like Pregnant could be that final piece to creating one of the best offensive lines in the entire league, a true Harbaugh-style unit.
This number right here, this is why GMs fall in love with a prospect. 1. That is how many sacks Emmanuel Pregnant allowed last season. Just 1. Over more than 900 snaps in the pass-heavy Pac-12. That level of consistency, of dominance, is almost unheard of for an interior lineman. And look, this isn't just a stat. It's about protecting a $500 million investment. That 1 sack allowed means more time, more confidence, and most importantly, fewer of those brutal interior hits on Justin Herbert over a long season. A boring pick? Maybe to some, but it's also a pick that directly protects the most important asset your franchise has.
And it's not just the stats, it's the fact that he's ready to go. As CBS Sports points out, with 6 years of college experience, Pregnant is not a project you have to develop. He is physically mature, he's technically sound, and he's built to be a day-one starter and an immediate upgrade. And that's a crucial point. For a team like the Chargers that wants to win now, getting an instant high-level starter on a cheap rookie contract is immense value. So in that sense, the safe pick is also a very powerful win-now pick, just in a less glamorous way than a big trade.
All right, our third path is maybe the most fascinating of them all, because it kind of blends elements of the first two. The goal is to find an instant impact pass rusher, but do it through the draft instead of an expensive trade. But to pull it off, the Chargers would have to break one of the cardinal rules of drafting, and that sparks a classic debate that happens in front offices every single year. How much do you value immediate production versus long-term potential? So this brings us to a really fun thought experiment. Garrett Podell of CBS Sports recently put out what he called the worst mock draft ever, and it was intentionally designed to troll fan bases with these really unconventional, against-the-grain picks. But what if the player he mocked to the Chargers, a pick designed to be a joke and get a rise out of fans, is actually the smartest, most logical choice they could possibly make? What if the wrong pick is secretly the right one? So what exactly makes a pick a troll pick? Well, it really just comes down to one thing: age. The conventional wisdom in the NFL draft, especially in the first round, is you take guys who are 21, maybe 22. The goal is to get their prime athletic years on a cheap rookie deal and then hopefully sign them to that big second contract that takes them into their early 30s. This path involves taking a player who's much older, which kind of short-circuits that whole long-term value plan.
And the player at the center of this whole debate is Miami edge rusher Akeem Mesidor. And here's the conflict in a nutshell. The red flag is his age. He's already 25 years old. That means he'll be nearly 30 by the time his rookie deal is up, which pretty much eliminates any chance of signing him to a big money second contract. But the green light is his pure, unadulterated talent. Pro Football Focus has him ranked as the 20th best player in this entire draft class. For a team picking at 22, getting a top 20 talent is a huge win in terms of immediate value. It's a classic battle, value now versus value later.
And you know, if you just ignore his age for a second and turn on the film, you see why he's ranked so highly. NFL.com's Lance Zierlein describes him with all the keywords you love for an edge rusher: instinctive, high effort, deep toolbox. Because he's older, he's more physically developed and technically refined than a typical 21-year-old rookie. He already has pro-level moves. He is ready to contribute from day one. It's similar to the pro readiness of Pregnon, but it's at that more premium, game-wrecking position of edge rusher. The only question is that number on his birth certificate.
So this is it. This is the GM's dilemma. 3 paths, 3 different philosophies: the expensive but proven veteran, the safe, foundational offensive lineman, and the high-value but older rookie. Each one is a totally logical response to the team's needs, and you can make a really compelling case for any of them.
So now it's time to put them all on the board and weigh the pros and cons directly, just like Cortez and Harbaugh are doing in their draft room right now.
This is the whole decision laid out right here. Let's walk through it, one path at a time. Path 1, the Highsmith trade. The benefit is obvious: instant, proven production. You know you're getting a top-tier pass rusher. The risk is just as clear. It's incredibly expensive, not just in that $30 million salary, but in the high draft pick you lose forever. Path 2, the Pregnon pick. The benefit is fundamental. You are making the safest possible investment to protect your quarterback, the engine of your team. The risk is the opportunity cost. By taking a guard, are you leaving a more dynamic, game-changing talent like a receiver or corner on the board? And finally, Path 3, the Mesidor pick. The benefit is just tremendous value. You get a top-tier talent who can help you win now on a cheap rookie contract without the cost of a trade. The risk is all about the clock. His age severely limits his long-term potential with the team, making him more of a 4-year rental than a 10-year cornerstone.
And that's the choice. There is no easy answer here. Your decision depends entirely on your philosophy. Do you pay a premium for a sure thing? Do you make the safe, foundational investment that fits your new coach perfectly? Or do you take a calculated risk on some unconventional value that other teams might be afraid of? So now, I'm putting you in the GM's chair. You have all the info. What's your move? Which path are you taking to build a Super Bowl champion around Justin Herbert?
Let us know what you think down in the comments. I really want to see your reasoning. Are you trading for Highsmith? Are you drafting Pregnon? Or are you rolling the dice on Mesidor? Make your case for which path gives the Chargers the best shot to win, not just this year, but for the next 3 to 4 years of Herbert's prime.
If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more in-depth analysis just like this, please do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and give this explainer a like. It really helps the channel out, and make sure you won't miss what we break down next.
And finally, if you're looking for another way to support what we do here at NFL Nexus, check out our coloring books. They're a really fun and relaxing way to show your team pride, and they're perfect for fans of any age, kids, grandkids, and adults too. You can find the link in the description, or you can just scan the QR code on your screen right now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.